Welcome back to another episode of Muse where we talk about anything creative. You have your host, Ezra.
And Asim, and today we're back with another video, guys. We're excited for this. We're excited.
Bro, you can't take nothing seriously. Like, we're trying to make quality content, try to give thought to the people, and all you want to do is dance and play around.
Bro, I'm going to be honest, dude. I'm just trying to prepare myself for this long conversation we have about today's topic, love and suffering. And
see, this is why I'm doing this shit by myself from now on.
yeah, so today's topic is love and suffering. And we know we're going to dive deep into how it can affect us, or how it does affect us throughout our life, from beginning to end, and how it can affect the artist as well. So
Yeah.
super excited. I mean, we look at artwork and we know that a lot of artwork has to do with suffering. The same amount of artwork has to do with love. And I think both these things balance each other out. Like
And a
yin
very strong emotion. I feel like ultimately, like, a whole career is built off of those emotions itself. Like, whether it's like an author or a director or a dancer.
Yeah.
Any type of field of arts or visual arts or, performance arts or any type of art form requires those emotions, I feel, to carry on their message.
I definitely agree. I mean, I think they're some of the most human feelings as well. I think the way that we identify with somebody being conscious or something being conscious is if they can suffer, experience loss, experience grief, experience something that's unpleasant, that's deeper than just, I don't want to feel hurt physically anymore. I don't want to feel hurt spiritually anymore. I don't want to feel hurt mentally anymore, as well as love. You feel me? I am in love with this individual, and it's not like, oh, this is my mate. Oh, this is my partner. This is somebody that, out of all the people in the world, I feel as though this person I connect to.
Well, question, in your art, do you feel like you prioritize communicating work with the feelings of love or with suffering?
I think that I gotta dive into my art more, and I gotta create more art. When it comes to writing writing a song, all my songs at this point has to do with just relationships, whether that be a loving relationship or a non-loving one, or a hopeless romantic one. It usually has to do with love in some shape or some shape or size. My apologies,
Some shape or form.
Yeah, some shape or form. Shit, hey.
Everyone says shape or form. I don't know what made you not think of it, but
I know, dude. Like, I botched that. But, yeah, so with my songs, for sure, have to do with love. But, I feel that when I am doing, like, different things, like, within, like, photography and stuff, and, like, my printmaking, like, I definitely believe that it's a lot of suffering in it. It's more suffering than it is love. And I feel that those just, like, different mediums call for or make me or provoke different feelings out of me.
I feel like, before I get to my personal work, I feel like to really have love for something, there has to be suffering involved. I don't think one exists without the other.
That's for sure.
Because ultimately, like, say you are, say in love with somebody, for you to actually be in love with that person and to work through all the problems, to stay with them, because there's always going to be problems. Nothing's always smooth, and there should be problems because everyone's different people. You have to work through things, and to really, like, have that love, you have to go through the suffering and issues to get to the point where you feel like, I mean, there's never going to be no problems, but you feel closer and closer to that person the more problems you go through with them. But also, I feel like in my own work, I do prioritize suffering, but once again with love, because I feel like, first of all, it's in all aspects. So just me working on my craft is because I love it, but I put myself through so much suffering to get better, so that I can communicate how I want to communicate. But then when it comes to my topics and subject, I feel like a lot of it has to do with the suffering I experience, or the suffering that I see other people may experience that I can relate to. Because ultimately, like, my biggest enjoyment is looking and I guess observing other people to see what type of, like, what makes a human human. And that's why I feel like that suffering is something that's I can feel easily, and that's just for my love of doing it.
I agree. I feel as though when it comes down to love and suffering, I also believe that in ways they're two sides of the same coin, as well as, you know, you don't have suffering without love in the same way, because I feel as though to have suffering, it has to be some type of connection to a
You have to feel really
a life.
strongly.
Yeah, a life that you don't have, or something you don't have, because they say this: all suffering stems from one thing: unmet expectations. But what is creating those expectations? The love and the imagination of that.
Yeah.
And I think we spoke on this off camera, and I was talking about how important imagination is, because without imagination, you want to have no love or creation for your life. As a kid, you know, we go on, oh, I want to be this, I want to do this, I want to see these things. Even in our adulthood, we talk about the same things. At the end of the day, that's those things haven't happened yet, but we're imagining us in those spaces.
But you think but you think that's because of the product of love, or some of it's just infatuation?
So I definitely think that things can be infatuation, especially when it's due to materialistic gain,
Like lifestyle.
You know, lifestyle. I want to look a certain way, but that's not real love. And you know, those things come and go. You feel me? Oh, dude, I want a Gucci chain. I want a Gucci outfit. I want this and third. Bro, these brands fall in and out of the spotlight like that. You know, but having things. Oh, I want to have a family. I want to have a land. I want to have a studio that I can create the things I want. That's a real connection, because that's disconnected from everybody else. I want to be able to, you know, even as this, I want my, what I believe in, I want to be able to spread it. Okay, that has to do with other people, but the people are the catalyst of that, and they're hearing that, but the message that you want to give is the thing you're really in love for, you're really in love with, and you want everybody else to be able to love it too, because you feel passionately about your message.
I think one thing I realized though is like that I think is kind of like also a negative trait of artists, especially an artist that fully lives in the ideology of wanting to be an artist, is the biggest negative trait is that for us to really be, I guess, lack of suffering and to be happy and enjoy our lifestyles, that we have to actually be fully making art. So if we're not fully making, and this is for people who like me, who is just, I can't live any other way but creating. And it's kind of sad, because it's like if they're not living that lifestyle, or they're not in that situation to live that life, to do that lifestyle or make that work they wanted to do to communicate, then it's like pure suffering all the way to the point you can do that. So I think it's kind of a hard thing to think about, because ultimately, if that's all you want to do, and for you to do that, you have to, like, based off the times around, like, society wise and economic wise, for you to do that, you have to do certain sacrifices, get a certain point in life to be in that situation. Not saying that just because, like, say you're poor or you're constantly working, you got things to do, mean that you can't make art. Of course you can make art, but it's going to be a mix of stuff where I feel like that suffering is always going to be there for certain people.
For sure. And you know, I said this in the last podcast, you know, knowing what to fight for. I mean, for the things we love, for the things you love, whoever, for the viewers, what they love, knowing what you want to fight for. If you don't ever fight for what you love, you're going to go through so much more suffering wishing you did.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, it's like putting yourself in that space to be successful, but also putting yourself in that space knowing that you might not be successful. Yeah. And that's where the suffering can kick in. But at the same time, the fact that you did, you can always have that perspective that you tried. But as well as you got that experience, like we talked in other previous episodes, doesn't mean you can't try again, because you have way less chances of failing at that time.
Do you feel like majority of the world, we're in America, so let's say America, do you think majority of America itself is filled with people that's suffering more than loving?
Yes. And I think that comes to a lack of faith. It's a stoic principle I love. And I mean, maybe it's just a quote, maybe it's just whatever, but it says, faithfulness is the antidote to suffering and bitterness.
Yeah. So
when you're faithful in whatever, knowing that, oh, bro, I took a step back, you know, this didn't work out in my favor, and that's why faith is so important. And I think a lot of people walk around with no faith. And without faith, you have no power.
I mean, I definitely agree with that. And I think another part is that people are, there's so many demons, bro. There's so many demons, and people are, I guess, misassociating what a love lifestyle is versus what, I think people are mixing things up. So, for instance, I'll give you an example. Like, there's a lot of people that don't, like, there's a lot of people in America that don't want kids, don't want to have a family, don't want to have connection with people. All they worry about is like, oh, I can get there. I cannot suffer if I have that money. If I have that lifestyle. You're scrolling on social media and see people with these lifestyles. What are these people doing? They could be in the same boat. They're just dressing up their life to make them look like they're not suffering. But what are they going through too? It's like a cycle of just misconception and lack of understanding, and just demons going around trying to, I guess, cloud what true love is and cloud what true happiness is. Because at the end of the day, like, happiness for me is like, one, is being comfortable with yourself and believing yourself, have that faithfulness, like you just said, in yourself, that no matter where you are in life, that you could just be happy with the understanding that you're alive. Because you said this to me yesterday, that life itself is a miracle, and just finding someone that you can share with, that you can love, is a miracle. And I really took that to heart, because I was like, bro, just going through life, and it's everything means is the fact that all this is happening is a miracle. Do you know people weren't born?
Hell yeah.
Like, all the, like, we can take it to science, like all the sperm fighting for that damn egg.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I think ultimately a lot of people's having misconception about what happiness and love is.
Right. And then, bro, as your best friend, bro, I'm really grateful that did touch you, bro. And, you know, like, just having that conversation, I say, really, you know, impacted me, because, you know, it's just like, as it's all, like, you need to be around the people that's there to say the things that you haven't said to yourself at that point, you know? And, like, having those people around you, like us having this relationship, even with this conversation, you can always learn something new and apply something that you might didn't know was actually vital. And to understand, like, life is a miracle. It takes all the power out of your hands. I'm a super spiritual person. I believe in God all the way. So it's just like, when I understand things that I'm going through, bro, I'm not the root of my success. Everything comes from within me, but that's through faith. That's through guidance. That's through my Savior. So when I go throughout life and I just perceive, it's about trying your best. But I think a lot of people don't try their best because they don't believe in themselves or believe in anything else that can really get them to be their best. Because if you're trying your best and you have the best intentions, you're going to spread more love. You're going to provide more opportunities. You're actually going to gain more opportunities because you're trying your best. And you're trying your best to be a genuine good person and have good ethics.
You know what it is? The reason why I mentioned this earlier, like how a lot of artists have the problem with they're not living their artistic lifestyle, so they're suffering all the way. The reason why I feel like I don't suffer with that as much is because, to me, I view life, my future, and everything as a blank canvas, and blank canvas makes me excited. So I feel like when I don't know what's next or I don't know where it's going, I view it as a vast open space of nothingness, and not in a negative sense where it's like, oh, just nothingness is black, empty. I view like nothingness as in it's spacious. It's so much space where you can put anything in it. You can pour all yourself into what the type of person you want to be. And it's like a blank canvas. There's so many opportunities. So I actually am excited about like, oh, what's like, of course, take pleasure in take importance and pleasure in the present and enjoy every single moment. But it's also just the fact that I don't know where I'm going. It's like, okay, what is this blank canvas? What is it going to be?
Facts, bro. And I think that makes a lot of creators or just people in general feel uncomfortable, you know. And then like when it comes to feel uncomfortable, like people don't like to feel that way. People don't like the feeling that, bro, I'm going to be a failure. I don't think I'm going to do good. It's a lot of people who just walk around with those negative thoughts just on 11, just turned up to 11. And I really pray for those people. But with me, bro, it's like this. Everything that you want, I say like this all the time. Everything that you want is already aligned with your soul. It's nothing outside of you that you want that you won't have. If you have this, that doesn't mean you don't have it in the exact way you think it's going to come. For example, I want to have kids, I want to have a family, I want to have a house, a home, this, and the third. These things is within me. Like I was talking to my brother, he said, how do you know this lifestyle wasn't for you or this lifestyle isn't for you? And I said, I have no hate for those lifestyles. It's just the fact of the matter, they don't align with my soul. If those things don't align with me, bro, I say like this. Having a vision, your vision is your compass. I say this all the time. Having your vision is your compass. Knowing what you want in life is your compass. That's how you get yourself through life. I want this family, I want this, I want that, I want whatever. That's going to provide you and that's going to guide you through life. You just praying to God. God's giving you your vision because we're not creating this. Think about it. No idea we ever have is unique. So at the end of the day, it's coming from our Creator because we might watch the same things growing up, have the same exact childhood, but we can want two different type of lifestyles that can be good, can be holy, but they're very different. So these things are already aligned in your spirit. So your vision is your compass. God gave you this vision. Now that's your compass. You're guided to whatever life you want. That means it's already written for you. That means you're just stepping into it. But yes, you got to be ready for your blessings. Yes, you got to be prepared. We talked about, I think you said it. You don't say it way better than me, but when opportunity arrives, it's about preparation and all these other things.
Preparation that needs to be opportunity.
Facts. And it's like you got to be prepared for that opportunity of that blessing of that life or that opportunity or that component in your life that you've been waiting for. Because it's going to come. But you got to be prepared. You can't be doing all the wrong things, being a shit person, expect you're going to step right into it. Bless you. Hey, bro. We were blessed. We were talking about that stuff. Yeah, but that's how it is. You got to be prepared for that. And I say like this. When it comes to life, life is going to test you. Mm-hmm. But throughout every test, after every test, once you make it through, guess what? It's a promotion. It's a promotion after every test. And I say it even deeper than this. Once you're tested, you're proven. I'm going to say it again. Once you're tested, you're proven. If you don't become proven, how do you know the shit that you believe in, the things that you want, the way that you work, things that you pray for, the way that you train, is even worth it if it's not proven? Think about in science even have to be proven. I can't just say a theory without even trying to prove it. So once you test it, you're proven. I can't say, bro, to get through all suffering, because suffering is going to come. But to get through those pain, that pain that's going to come, is to pray, meditate, ground, do affirmations in the mirror, sun gaze, do all these different things. If I haven't been through it, turn to those things and it worked for me. So I know they're proven. So now my testimony's proven. Now my testimony, I can speak that with more confidence. So that's why I think it's very essential. Make it wanting to be proven. Wanting your goals and what you believe in to be proven. And then working hard for it to become that.
I mean, I do agree with a lot of that. And I feel like there's a time where I was like focused on like mind power. Where it's just like the things you put out there comes back to you in the universe. And also just constantly having that self-belief. But which is like the main thing I stick by, because ultimately, like, I would say I'm a very simple person that is interested in a lot of complexities. But the thing that worked for me the most is just constant belief, and I'm gonna be where I need to be. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I love, and that's it. Like, I feel like that's right there is what's gonna keep me going. What's kept me going is just those two things. I believe in, I'm gonna put myself in the right situation, and I'm going where I'm meant to be. I'm living my purpose, and I'm doing what I love. That's it.
Facts. And that's just full faith, bro. That's just faith in a nutshell. And I think a lot of people gave up on that aspect of life when it comes down to just faith because, and I understand, I saw this podcast and it was Jamal, it was Jamal Charlo. He's this boxer or whatever from Louisiana, and he was chatting about how when you don't feel, how can you? A lot of people can expect you to be great, but if you don't feel great, how can you be great? And it's like fighting that feeling when you don't feel great. What is causing you to feel this discomfort? What is causing you to feel this self-doubt?
Well,
And the thing is, I think it stems from self-belief. And I think that you should believe in yourself. But me as a man of God, I believe that you should believe in God more.
I mean, I feel like when it comes down, it is self-belief, but it's also just, like I said, perspective. Like, a lot of people, they don't see instant results, or they put the work in for, like say it's like half a year or even a couple of years. They put the work in and they give up because just like they're not seeing instant results. Like, maybe they could believe in themselves to get to that point, but it's just like they're like, there's a time where I was like, damn, if I feel like I'm this great, and I feel like I can do this, I can do that, why is it not happening for me? And that's because your test is greater than others. Like, everyone has their own test. Everyone has their own levels of strife they have to go through. And your story is not compared to anybody else's story.
Facts.
Because you're your own person, you're your own soul. So, at the end of the day, I feel like people need to stop comparing to other experiences, other results, whatever it is in that situation, and be like, there's nothing that's going to be the same as me. So, why am I even...
Right.
Why am I even down
people.
about that?
We're all different people. We all go through different experiences. And the thing is, we don't ever go through things that we can't overcome. You understand that? People say check your privilege, but I feel that we all need to check our privilege because it's something that's happening to somebody right now. Unfortunately, and I pray for it, but it's something happening to somebody right now that none of us or people don't have to go through that, and I haven't had to go through that, or I had to go through this, and different things break different people differently.
I mean, I feel like it's a blaming game because everyone, like, this is the same thing. Like, I know a lot of people in the black community where it's just like the check their privilege with like white. Granted, white people are in situations where in power where it's like in terms of like industry wise, but it's like, okay, if they are, so what?
Yeah,
you may have, say if you have to work harder, say you have to, whatever it is,
accept it.
It doesn't matter. Like, if you're using a blame game, how's it gonna get you anywhere?
For sure.
If you're putting someone else like, hey, like, okay, they got this, but that's because they're white, or that's because they're a pretty girl, or that's because they know this person. It's like, okay, yeah, and what of it? What's that gonna do for you?
Hell yeah.
So you have to stop blaming other people and view, and like I said, whether it's blaming, whether it's self-belief, whether it's progress, whether it's like relationships, whatever it is, nobody else in that situation is your situation. It's just you.
Hell yeah. And I think we were chatting about just that victimized mindset.
Yeah.
And I think that, a lot of minority communities, as well as just communities that's always it's different communities always coming up every year, that's just people having more of a voice and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's all these different communities that have these victimized mindsets. We're in part of one as well. And it's just like you said, just stating, okay, this is what it is. Accept it, move on. At the end of the day, all right, within that community, all right, we're black. The victimized community within the black community. Okay, all black people should just work together, do their own thing. Fuck what another person thinks. Okay, who cares? We can't be self-sufficient. We need the white people money. We need that. Fuck them. Let's do us.
Yeah.
So it's that victimized mindset. And, I grew up never really with that victimized mindset. And I think a lot of people, they carry a lot of pride with that victim mentality. I'm just going to state this and I'm just going to let it go real quick. Like, even in, I want to say more brown cultures where we come from or whatever, you got darker skinned people, lighter skinned people. Like, they will say, oh, this person's not this because they're lighter skinned. Because the darker skinned person goes through that, that oppression a lot more. And I understand that. I understand where that pain comes from, but still you shouldn't disconnect from your brother and because of what's happening to you. You should connect even harder. You shouldn't try to oppress your own people in your own way. But another thing is just the disconnect from that victimized mindset, understanding that just dwelling in your pain and suffering just because it's tangible is real, and you think if you go and strive to get the things you want, that you're in love with, that you will love to do, the person you will love to be, just because it's so much doubt in that doesn't mean you shouldn't. Because a lot of people, they just get strung up on what's real. What's real is that I can hurt myself easier. What's real is I can go through pain easier. What's real is, you feel me, I cannot accomplish my goals easier. But what we want, a baby step life, we want a shit life, or we want to make their life, gamble for the life we want.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a betting man, but I'm only betting in the stuff that matters to me.
Yeah. So I do want to take it back to art now, with communicating message, communicating ideas. And why do you feel like, as an artist, the main focus of art is trying to communicate suffering, your pain? I feel like when people will make art, and this is not everybody, I'm not trying to box everybody, but a lot of people have that thing where it's oh, they shared their pain. Oh, it's I want to share my pain. Oh, what's the trauma? What's the pain? What's the suffering? Why do you think that's a big focus in communicating with art?
I think that everybody can connect to it. Everybody can connect to it, and it communicates. I don't want to say easier, but it communicates effectively.
Yeah.
It communicates effectively because everybody went through some sort of suffering. And when it comes down to making art, you want to be able to communicate a message. And with suffering, you can easily communicate that. You can easily communicate how that made you feel in many ways.
But I feel a big part is just like I said, word is power, energy is power. It's when you make a piece filled with, I guess, pain and suffering, it's you can feel that off the piece. You feel that uncomfortable feeling off the piece. So I think a big part of it is we're putting a piece of ourselves in the art. And this is something I say a lot of, that I don't sell certain pieces of art because I don't want to share that feeling I'm sharing, because I'm giving off my energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I don't want to project that energy onto someone else. So that's why it's I feel some pieces are made. Granted, some pieces are made to actually make them feel like I feel, and then some pieces are made to show them, oh, this is how I felt. This is how I felt this moment, and this is my way of sharing that part of myself without actually trying to project negative feelings. So that's why you have to be careful with the art you make, because there's different ways to communicate suffering. You can communicate in a sense where you're trying to throw it on to someone else, or you can communicate in a way where you're trying to show somebody else. And it's how do you make art to separate those two things?
Right. Definitely. I mean, I feel it's also when people go to make art, because a lot of times you're inspired by those situations that either you overcame, or you're still in it, and it's a very different feeling. So you're inspired to create something from that moment. And, we when we look back on life, we look back on highs and lows. It's hard to look back at a moment that we were just there. When I think about a memory, the first memory I'm going to think about is a really happy memory or a really sad memory.
Yeah.
So since those things are very easy to latch onto, or easier to latch on to, it's easier to call back how that feeling felt.
Yeah, because that's exactly what I feel. I feel the most uncomfortable pieces I've made for myself as well is pieces I made in the moment. That moment that I'm feeling that emotion. And guess what? After I usually make that piece, I feel a little bit better. Why? Because I transfer my energy to that piece. And it's as simple as that. Mm-hmm. Versus after I went through the emotion or the feeling or the moment or whatever it was, experience, I'm doing a callback. It's okay, there's a different situation. Mm-hmm. You're trying to show somebody rather than give somebody.
That's true, bro. And I mean, when you listen to a love song, thinking back, I've been in love many times, bro. And You know, when you freaking fall in love, you know, you get that butterflies, you get that nervousness.
Many times, damn.
Bro, I'm a certified lover, man. And it's just like, you know, falling in love many times, it's just like, once you fall in love, I say it like this, once you fall in love, you open yourself up to pain. But you should always allow yourself to be open for that. Because once you fall in love, you have that imagination. You have that imagination that this relationship can go anywhere. And like I say, God is imagination.
Yeah.
Because think about every way that we create, the miracles in His life, the things that we want, is so much imagination in the Lord and what we want.
Yeah.
That comes from that. And that's why I pray for my imagination to stay vibrant, to stay relevant, because that's how you know what type of things you want to create, where you want to go, where you see yourself. When you see yourself opening those galleries, you know, your artwork taking you here, a song blowing up, you know, that is a holy imagination that some people lost. They lost that imagination. You want to hold on to that.
I feel like, to the imagination thing, now when you say, I feel like I fell in the idea, the imagination of love once. And I fell in love once. So somebody might say, "Oh, I fell in love twice," but for me, I fell in the So basically, when I say I found the in love with the idea of love, it's like this person is like that. I felt like that this person is like, "Oh, I know what love is, and I know what I feel like love is, and I want to have that experience." So my brain is gonna be like, "Okay, I'm gonna try to make everything feel like this experience." When ultimately it's not really. I'm just trying. It's just like when you're making art, it's just like you're just trying to, or like no, when you're looking at art, you want to see that piece is like, or when you listen to a song, it's like, oh, I want to feel what they're feeling. I want to feel what they're feeling.
That's true.
So I'm gonna trick my mind to have that thing where I'm feeling, and that's when I actually fell in love. I was like, damn, this is a completely different feeling because one is like I had the idea of this. And this is what I want it to be. This is my future that I wanted to see. I want it to happen this way because this is where I want to be. And the other one's like, this just happened. And now you're here like, oh, shoot. Like, this is a real feeling. So it's a difference, I think.
Facts, bro. I mean, like, bro, like, I think it comes through with experience. like I said, I admire a lot of things with you and your partner and stuff like that. And with me, I definitely know, I felt very loving feelings, but of course those things didn't manifest into a long-term relationship. But another thing is, they don't always have to.
Yeah.
Things don't always have to, but manifesting that to be real. And I'm going to say this real quick.
Yeah.
It's like, one of my favorite Drake bars, he said, if I ever loved you, I'll always love you. That's how I was raised.
Yeah.
Any person that, there's so many people in this world. So many people in this world. And for us to connect to one person and have an experience that is very deep, very raw, very, just very intimate in whatever way. Even if that relationship don't even turn into something that is long term.
Yeah.
That was a connection there. And we walk past people every day that we don't even want to connect with. Now, I feel though I think imagination get a little bit more out of whack if you just see a beautiful woman walk past and you're like, oh, I'm in love with her. Okay, she's very beautiful. You're in love with her aesthetic for sure. But at the same time, when you're seeing infatuation, when you're seeing a relationship play out, or just seeing a woman that you have nothing but this person that you have nothing but good intentions. For example, with you, in a platonic way, I fell in love with you in a way like, dude, I love this dude. I want to see me and Ezra do this, that, and the third together.
Yeah.
And we didn't always start like that. But as we was going to Twigs together, I spoke on this before. I made that decision. I was like, bro, I really love this nigga. I want to be able to do this, that, and the third with bro, and go these places with him and experience this thing, and just grow with this dude. You don't want to grow with every guy.
That's what I mean, though. Like, I'm saying, like, ultimately, there's a difference between the infatuation of love and actual love. So I feel like the infatuation of love is you have this idea of what you want love to be, and you're trying to take every situation and try and mold it in that form to meet that future you want. And then actual love, it's just like I did not come into a situation, see you, and then like, oh, we started becoming friends. It's like, okay, I want this type of friendship. I want this type of friendship. Maybe this can be this type of friendship. So I'm I'm making my mind believe in this. Where it's just like anything that happens, it's like, oh, I'm trying to coerce that versus just it naturally happening.
Yeah.
So it's like even with my partner, it's not like it's not like I just met her. It's like, okay, I started to like this girl a little bit. This is the type of future I want to see. Let's see how this is gonna work. Like how no, it's just like, oh, I met this person. I'm not looking for anybody. Oh, actually, like, I was trying to like this person a little bit more. Okay, boom. Oh, wait, now I'm dating this person. Okay. Oh, boom. Same situation. Oh, now I'm married to this person. Oh, now I have kids.
For sure.
Now, and it's just like kind of like, I mean, obviously everyone operates different. People have that future they imagine. Me personally, like I said, I like the idea of a blank slate, a blank canvas, where it's just, if I really, it's like your best art is never planned. It just hits, it strikes, and that's a real piece. It's like you're not gonna sit there and be like, okay, this is how I'm gonna communicate this. This is how I'm gonna communicate this, and sit there and try and plan to make this image. It's like no, most masterpieces happens by almost mistake in a sense, where it's like I'm building through this. You never know it's gonna be a masterpiece because you're working through all the problems. Like even the Sixteenth Chapel, he had many issues. There's so many problems with just getting the painting done, where he was like, damn, like I don't even want to be. I don't want to do this piece. But guess what? It turned into a masterpiece because it just formulated in its own natural way. It wasn't idealized.
Yeah, bro. And like I want to say, bro, you got a very beautiful mind, brother. I really love the way
You do too.
Thank you, bro. I really love the way that you think in ways like that, and I think that is a lot of positive things in that. It's nothing wrong with having like knowing what you want. I think it's a way of balance it, moving forward with a blank canvas, but also having some type of mediums you want to use.
Yeah.
You know, in life, because you can move forward with a blank canvas, but at the end of the day, you might know, dude. At the end of the day, I want to be oil painting on that canvas. Yeah. At the end of the day, I want to be charcoal drawing on that canvas, whatever it is. You can want to move forward, but have some expectations with what you want.
Yeah.
And things you should have those expectations, and you should open yourself up for it. Oh, bro, if I move forward to that blank canvas with oil paint, just messing up the canvas and knowing, damn, okay, I failed, but guess what? It's more blank canvas. So it's more blank canvas ahead.
It's like, I mean,
and that's what real faith is. That's what real, fighting is. That's what real wanting is. That's what real living is. Yeah. That's really living. When you're really, a lot of people, I don't think they're really living, bro. They're living with fear. They're living guarded. They're living shaking through life. You can't live like that. Yeah. That's not creating. You want to create confidently. You know what I'm saying? Like how you talking about? You're talking about, okay, not creating. That's the flow state. Yeah. How do you hit that flow state? You hit that flow state by trusting in something higher than yourself. Because when you're drawing on the flow state, you know how they say, like, your hands are just making movements in the dirt. Everything's coming higher than yourself. Yeah. It's full belief in yourself and your creator and your ability to create because you're connected, because you're aligned, because you're at the right place doing the right thing, trying your best in the right moment.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's back to the whole thing where it's like, yes, you have the idea of the mediums you want in life, like whether it's like a family or whether it's a let's say I'm just saying whether it's a family. Mm-hmm. Like, that doesn't mean you don't know the exact time, and that's the big thing I want to get on. It's like, let your time be your time. Don't force it, because ultimately, whether it's love, whether it's an artistic career, whether it's a lifestyle, your time will be your time.
Yes.
So that's what makes me say, like, the infatuation of love is like, a lot of times that's because you're just forcing your time.
For sure, bro. I mean, like, it is unrealistic expectations. For example, I can say, bro, I want a son, but let's say God never blessed me with a son. What, my life is a failure? You can't worry about things that's out of your control. And a lot of people are, hurt or just suffering by moving, knowing things are out of their control. Doesn't mean your life won't be what your life should be.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things are out of your control, bro. But that's the miracle of life. Accept, let go, live in the moment, have your ambitions, but be okay with not being able to control everything, and walk with faith. That's all you can do. That's all you can do, bro. You know what I mean? Because when you want to control everything, it brings you to the point where you're like, damn, bro, I'm suffering because I'm just getting misstep after misstep. Things aren't going my way, but things don't always got to go your way, because happy accidents are frequent, Because really they're miracles. Really they're miracles. And, you know, that's why I'm saying, like, love is a miracle. You feel me? To find somebody that you connect with, that you want to grow with, that you want to share with, bro. Out of all the people, a lot of people don't experience that. And not everybody does. But for the people who do, who blind themselves with other things that aren't a part of that. You know, I was saying this, like, growing up, this world makes you feel as though you have to kill your soul to be okay with it. When I say kill your soul, I mean kill your light. Kill the things that's really a part of you. Kill the things that you really align yourself with. And you don't. You don't have to. But this world will make you think that to, you know, dodge suffering, to dodge, you know, unmet expectations, to dodge bad friends, to dodge bad relationships. You shouldn't have to. Walk with faith, know you're protected, and know you're ambitious, know your goals, and try your best. And that's all you need to do, and that's how you live a fulfilled life.
Great.
I love you, brother.
Me too.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Muse, where we talk about Indian creative. I mean, today was a great episode. We dived into a lot of different things, and hopefully you guys got inspired.
If you're here too, that means you watched it through.
We appreciate you guys for watching the whole video. Hey, bro, I need to stop this stutter, bro. I'm going to work on it.
Bro, you talking fine earlier, bro. He just has a hard time saying goodbye.
I lost my flow state, and I do have a hard time saying goodbye. And that has to do with love and suffering. Guys, thank you so much. Make sure to hit the like button. Tap that bell icon. Subscribe if you're new.
And find your muse.
Yes, sir.